Yo, Brian, thank you so much for coming to your Ignite Your Blue show.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You're super excited?
Sure.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for coming to Ignite Your Blue show, where we believe that the B is for belief, the L is for lifestyle, the U is for ultimate, and the E is for expression. We believe that blue is more than just a color. It's everything that you've been dreaming about. Your mindset is unique. Your lifestyle is... it has a lot of progress, and you've been progressing throughout the life that you've been living throughout campus to the person that you are today. Your attitude is just amazing. But the most important thing, bro, is your growth. From the time you were a toddler till now, man, did you ever see yourself being this tech expert in the 256?
No, it wasn't as clear as this, but there was something about it.
When did you start believing that I'm going to be a face of technology in Uganda?
And I remember just drawing back to my childhood experience. I remember my first time using a desktop.
Yeah.
We were in primary school. That was P4. And all we did was just switch it on. And we didn't want to do much. It was that time where we waited on instruction because it was the first time I was seeing a computer and I didn't want to mess it up. So, but I remember how fascinated and interested I was. And then the next time was at Intare School. I was in the computer lab and Facebook had launched around. So among the first people to use Facebook.
Yes.
And I wanted to build a platform like Facebook.
Yes.
That could be inclusive, that could have the Ugandan schools. Because I think I joined in at a time where it was mainly the Harvard communities, the Stanford communities, and there was something clearly missing about Africa. And so I saw opportunity of building something that could be, that could have the Ugandan schools, that could have Intare, could have Maryhill, could have, those are the schools I was thinking about.
Did you think about St. Peter's College, Tororo? That's my school.
Eventually I would get every Ugandan school on board. Yeah.
And then the belief started growing that there's something in technology and there's something in creating this social network.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that got clear after school. I was doing branding before.
Yes.
And branding was passion. I remember I joined branding to help my dad.
Yes.
I never wanted to, sit at campus. So I would go in to help my dad. And my dad had... It was one office. Today I can clearly define it. He had a tender business. Because there was a secretary, there was a guy to run around and him.
Yeah.
So I get in there and I didn't know where to help. So art was an easy way for me to get in.
Doing graphics.
Yeah, doing graphics. That's how I started. And it was all right because I could earn some money to buy like a smartphone. That was also the beginning of the smartphone craze.
Yes. And you were one, I know, one of the finest people to have like one of the finest phones in the country at the time.
Everyone has.
I'm just saying, back in the day, like at campus, especially in your class.
And I remember we were like 2 people with smartphones.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I created an Instagram page. So I was among the first people to get onto these communities. And I would use the smartphone with its filters, take nice pictures, and I would tag the Kenyan and Nigerian pages because those seem to be a bit
advanced
ahead of us.
And
and they would never post me.
Yeah.
So they would never post me. And then I thought to myself, this is just a page. I can also create this. So I created one of those first early community Ugandan pages called IG Uganda.
Yes.
And I would run that. And quickly, I think in about 4 months, we had grown to 10,000 followers. At the very early stage of like influence and all of that stuff. We had like one of the biggest pages in the country.
Obviously, to a lot of people, they're like, okay, so there's this guy. He's into graphics and branding and all these things.
Yeah.
And now he's becoming an influencer. Obviously, pictures, the likes of Kim Kardashian's already doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And then Tubayo comes into the picture. What was the belief then and the shift?
Yeah, so while doing the branding, it was all right because I was at campus. I was earning 200K, 300K. That's good money.
Yeah.
But soon after school, the guys I'd gone to school with seemed to now get ahead in life faster than I was doing. And so it started to frustrate me. And I think what made it worse was looking around the people I was working with. And like I was not inspired by any of them. And I remember also...
I need more.
Yeah, I knew deep down I needed more. And I remember studying the entire industry now. Let me study this branding thing at NASA. I think now there's great people who are doing great. Probably they are not doing a good job with showing it and inspiring but then I was so sure...
remarkable.
Yeah. then I was so sure there's nothing inspiring here, because I looked around for the biggest companies. They weren't as inspiring. I wanted a company as big and like probably worth millions of dollars.
Yes. You're dreaming big, bro.
Yeah, the closest I got was New Vision. I'm like, but this is a public-private, a kind of arrangement.
Yes.
What are the chances I'm going to build that? And they were really slim. So I think what got clear was when I was messing around with the internet, just searching the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
And then I found like the first 5 were all doing something about the internet and technology.
Yes.
Now, because I had a familiarity with Instagram and have grown the page to 10K, I had the confidence then of, wow, I should actually build something in this line. Because that's where the richest people are.
Yes.
So that's what got me there to actually be a billionaire. That's how I first get into tech.
Bro.
And the name Tubayo, now because I'd done branding, I wanted to get a name that could stand out even on a global stage. Mm-hmm. If we sat on a table, 5 people, and they mentioned Tesla, Facebook, they would at least mention Tubayo and know that it's an African brand. So that's how I came up with the name.
Tubayo.
Yeah.
And obviously, Tubayo can mean so many things, but then breaking it down to like, which sector does Tubayo stand for? Because I mean, Tesla, you talk of Tesla, you're talking of big machines and all these things, but you deciding to draw down, okay, so what is Tubayo? What is its main focus? How did you, again, just break it down?
Yeah, so first was the internet. Second was what was I going to do about the internet? And so the economics background then helps. There's one thing that really stood out for me while studying about competition. The kind of industry you're in will determine how profitable you are.
Yes.
And also the other trend I wanted was an industry that had signs of growth.
Right.
And so when I searched the fastest growing industries, travel came up number 1. And quickly, I knew that there's an opportunity about travel, because all of us would be excited when you mention travel. But I think until then, very many people had not traveled. And so I saw a chance and an opportunity there. So I knew I was going to do an e-commerce platform, but really serving just the travel market.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's how now the Tubayo travels.
The Tubayo travel
starts from that journey. So basically what I'm getting is the belief then was to become a billionaire. And then that attitude of, man, I need to see who are the first top 5 billionaires in the world. What kind of cars are they driving? What kind of cars are the guys in NASA driving? Oh, no, they're not driving the big boys' toys. And so then it becomes, okay, which I feel like you're very persuaded in the things that you like, and the fact that you actually take an initiative to research and go. So that belief is so powerful for you to sit down and say, no, if travel is what is making the world go round, I'm going to do that.
I want to do travel.
But then again, even as you're doing this and you're believing that travel is the way to go, it again grows Tubayo as a company. Now there is the market day as well, and the whole marketing thing and the community of, small-scale traders coming together. Where does that, again, fit into your belief ecosystem?
Great. So while doing travel, I remember the first time we ever launched our first trip.
Yeah.
I think from the launch in about January 2019 until April, we had no client.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, these tour companies that we are fighting so hard to convince to get onto our platform, why don't we create these products? They don't seem like rocket science, because it's simply a trip to Ginger.
Yes.
And so we created our first trip and marketed it. And I remember putting it on our pages, and it did not get any booking. Wow. So first, that was the reality check of, I don't think you're as good at marketing as you think you are. And then, but I remember something immediately told me, try the next weekend. So we tried the next weekend, and then we get our first customers. We got our first 2 people, but we needed 10. But those 2 people were all excited that we had gotten someone to trust us online and book.
Yes.
But we didn't make the other 8. And I remember that Friday just calling them and lying to them that we have a group of people that had booked the whole trip, so we're going to refund your money. And because I remember those guys mentioning they had seen the previous trip we had advertised and they didn't get on, so they asked if we would have a 3rd trip.
Yes.
And because of the lie, we kept it up and said, yes, we would. So they told us to keep with the money. And then the following week, we advertised again. But this time we did all, like I remember getting onto my WhatsApp and texting everyone to repost for me.
Yeah. Like, please, man, let's share
for me on your status and all. And in about 2 days, we had a fully booked trip. And I remember that first trip, it was more exciting writing fully booked than actually attending the trip.
Like, if I can get out artwork that says fully booked.
I was just so happy about that. So we did that trip. And then soon we started doing like multiple trips. And the idea was really, let's build it around social media. We were among the first people to take cameramen on trips because I had the social media background and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
So we did that. We're soon doing vans, then we got onto buses, coasters. And I remember around that time, Uganda Airlines had just launched. And there was all this media about it of how they don't think Ugandans can manage an airline.
Yeah.
We decided to do something different. We're like, you know what, this is a brand. Let's work with them. So we decided to also now launch into flights to Nairobi.
Yeah.
So fast forward, we have that success and people are joining our community. And I remember, I think what stood out then, we were then invited to join an accelerator program with the Innovation Village, where we learned about our stakeholders, the business models. And then is when I analyzed who are the true stakeholders of Tubayo. Yeah. And we have 5. We have the customers, the hosts, the vendors, the shareholders, and the team.
Yeah.
So with all of these, we ask ourselves, what can we do for all these 5 people? And how can we keep measuring it? And that's when COVID happened. But we decided to zero down on the community and ask ourselves, what can we do for the community and their businesses?
Yeah.
We launched the Tubayo market online. So those guys would get onto our Instagram pages and sell. But soon after COVID, we wanted to improve that. And so we launched the market there just as an extension of what we're doing. Because we'd give them our platform for them to launch and sell whatever product. Yeah. And the thinking was simple. We give them our platform with the many followers. When they make money, they can come back and spend on us. So that's how we get to launch what is probably the most exciting initiative at the company.
Wow, fantastic, man. Obviously, your lifestyle has totally changed. From this guy down in NASA delivering artworks and stuff like that and printing this and that. And then to this guy who's pretty much like a model, taking pictures and your Instagram is popping, you're getting followers. This guy who's all about travel and stuff like that. And then now there's this business exec that you're becoming every other day. And I love the fact that you are looking into the lifestyle of that young lady, that young boy who wants to go into the world of marketing and just making sure that you're bridging the gap. I want to know now from your own experience, you know, how does your lifestyle then change to become who you are today?
So of course it gets competitive, the kind of business that we do. So it's exciting that you get to be the first Ugandan player.
Yes.
But the internet space is a global market.
Yeah.
So you're going to compete with the global players, with the Chinese, with Booking, with Airbnb, with the American companies.
Yes.
And so you have to up the game to at least grab, if there's any chance for you to grab the market share. Yeah. And that calls for you to change in your habits, your planning. And I love to learn. I love to read about so many companies and the strategies they employ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's this thing about you also becoming a traveler. You travel a lot, bro.
Yeah, I think also that was also one of the reasons why I got excited about travel.
Yes.
In fact, I remember just getting this thought process of the Europeans got to benefit so much from Africa by simply coming here to see the opportunity. And when they saw the opportunity, like we know the story of the explorers, they could then write to the kingdoms back at home.
This is what these guys are doing down here.
Yeah, there's mineral resources here. There is raw materials. Please come and get this for our markets, for our industries back home. Yeah. And I thought to my place, if we get, I thought to myself, if we got and gave this opportunity to many Ugandans and Africans to travel, they will get to see the opportunity out there. Maybe they get to learn a new skill or just open their perspective. And for me, that was even going beyond just myself and what I wanted to achieve, of what can we do for community to just open their perspective and develop the continent more. So travel, I still believe it. Travel is like the best education out there.
Wow. Yeah. And obviously you've ensured that you're not just traveling yourself, you're also making sure that Tubayo does travel with you. And you've opened up, you know, other offices in Nairobi, Kenya. I want to know, what's your ultimate goal now? Because you are now living a good life, bro. You have all these companies and everybody's, the community has grown bigger. What's your ultimate goal now for Tubayo?
So Tubayo is to build a digital infrastructure for Africa. We see a near future where everything is online, because online presents efficiency, but it's very inclusive, everyone can easily join, and businesses get to have bigger market share. So there's so many benefits that come with being online, and we envision that for the entire continent. I think for so long, Africa businesses have been left out of the global market. If you look at payments, if you look at just the market share, we just trade within ourselves. And there's a bigger global market. And if you look at the statistics, by 2050, 1 in 3 people in the world will be Africans, which means the African products, our African ideals will definitely be a thing. We can already see it with the African music. Because Africa is actually listening to these things. So we want to be really at the forefront of building that infrastructure. But in the short term, we are creating presence in multiple markets. We have Kenya. We've also launched in the US, in California, because this is a launch pad for most of the global businesses. And it was important to us that we also set foot there. That's in Silicon Valley. But we also have one inspiring thing, like I mentioned earlier. We had filled up the vans, the coasters, the buses, the Uganda Airlines. Next is really the rockets. And that's why we have a Mars 2030 mission, where we want to really participate actively in Mars exploration and out of space exploration.
Crazy. Does your dad, does he still sit in NASA Road and see that this boy from NASA Road now is thinking of Mars and whatnot?
No, my dad is doing a couple of things, but that's, the office is still operational.
Bro, I mean, with all these things that you're doing, obviously for me, somebody that knows your story, you've been very expressive in nature. You know, the fact that you don't just sit with all these crazy ideas that you have. You actually go out there and you execute them. Walking, the fact that you get out of your seat, go and knock onto these companies and be like, guys, we can do this. Tech can help you get these clients and stuff like that. I just want to know from yourself how important has expression and you just being a very expressive person with your ideas been in terms of accelerating your career?
I think it's such a power. In fact, when I look back, I remember when I got like my first gig with one of the companies, Taxify then, I simply walked in. Because then you get to define what kind of value will I add on to this company. Until today, I believe it. If you're adding value to anyone, they will welcome you. So it's just a power that you can have as an individual to define what value you can add and then go and meet the people.
Interesting. And even, you see, the way you express yourself, even in the name, Tubayo, how important was it for you to just say, no, I want Tubayo to be expressed in, or the ideals of Tubayo to be expressed in a Ugandan name?
It was simply getting to the knowledge that we are as gifted as any other part of the world. And I strongly believe Africa is like the most exciting continent right now. And so for me, I take great pride in that. And I am a patriot. I love Uganda. I wear that jersey everywhere. I think I'm from the most gifted country, for sure. So I was very, I needed a name that represents that, you know, Tubayo. And because of the internet opportunity that is everywhere, it was just a perfect name, because Tubayo means we are all around the world, we are everywhere. And the vision was we're going to build a brand from Africa that will be everywhere in the world.
Guys, man, we want to ignite the blue for you, with you, and everywhere you go. We want you to go with that blueness that you have. I really admire your belief. The fact that you can just sit there and you're like, man, I want to be among the 5 billionaires. I want to ride the same cars they're riding. I just want to live the kind of lifestyle they're living. I want to have all these dreams and all these visions. You know, even when you talk about Mars, some people feel like it's maybe white people who are supposed to live in Mars. And for us, we do not have business. But for you to say, my ultimate goal is to see Tubayo being in the discussion of going to Mars again.
We're going to have to participate. And people have asked me, so how are you going to do it? And you know, it has gotten clear over time. And for me, I say we're going to do it in 3 phases. So one will be just exchanging human talent, of which Ugandans can if we can coordinate that project where we get Ugandan scientists to go and work at NASA, work in these space companies,
that's a level of satisfaction.
Yeah, we are contributing to Mars, and so that's one. And they could go a step further and build software that enables this exploration. Really, we can do that software building. And then second, so that's the talent, which involves also building software. Second is we create launch pads here. And for me, this idea is the same as how we've seen aeroplanes. We've never built aeroplanes in Africa.
Yeah.
They build them in America, China, and then they come and land here and then take off. We could still do the same, and enable people to take off from the continent. But third, which I believe would be most exciting, is when we actually build that hardware. And I think it's in our time that we need to build and do all those hard things. So contributing to Mars exploration can start as early as like next week.
Yo, man, it's crazy, man. Guys, Tubayo is igniting possibilities, is igniting your passion right here on Your Blue channel. I have to say that, man. We are definitely igniting Your Blue. Your belief, your lifestyle, your ultimate, and your expression is admired by so many people. Everywhere you go, you've touched millions. Allow me to say this, of young ladies and young gentlemen who are into business, who are into tech, who are into travel. A lot of them nowadays have also started their own pages on Instagram with now 100,000 followers. How many IG Uganda? How many followers does it have today?
So IG was
you had to change.
Off. I don't know. Meta, something happened.
Yes,
that's
then you lost
the account. I need to be on that table with them.
Be like, guys, I started this thing. What's happening with this account?
There's my page which I need back.
Yes, but for all those young souls out there that are inspired by your story and your passion for tech and travel, but also small scale businesses, what can you tell them, just in order for them to ignite their blue, to have the same belief just like yourself, and just be there and express their ideas in the way that they do? What would you tell them?
So first, I believe that we are very gifted people. Like, every one of us has such a big gift on them, and it humbles me to think about the kind of work and impact we've had. I strongly believe we are probably the leading opportunity creators.
Nice.
Because we power like 400 businesses every single month.
Crazy.
And this create close to 2,000 jobs every single month. We do that, and we're doing it in Kenya, at least, and Uganda, and. So to the people, to the young person, I think it's just to get that belief that all these great things we see and admire around the world are done by people who are just like you and I. So you can do it as well.
Guys, you can do it. As we continue igniting your blue, we have to say bye-bye. But before we go, man, you're very great when it comes to socials, right? So the people right there probably watching you, they want to follow you, but they also want to follow Tubayo. Where can they go at?
So first, download the Tubayo app on Play Store and App Store. We have our website, tubayo.com. But also on the socials, it's Tubayo. And then there's several business units. There's Tubayo Travel, Tubayo Homes, Tubayo Experiences, Tubayo Events.
Basically, Tubayo everywhere. See you guys next time. It's been Sami and, of course, my brother, Brian. Remember, ignite your blue every day, every hour, every minute, every second, every milliseconds. Till next time, God bless.